Further questions? Councilmember Knight.
Two items. First, you say it went up 2%. I just did a selective compare of 3 or 4 different midpoint ranges, and I'm only showing 0.98%. So what is it?
Can you repeat the question? You lost me on the very first, Councilmember Knight.
You said the bands all moved up 2%.
No, what I said is the market average moved up 2%. The market average in the total structure moves up 2%.
But our bands are only moving up 0.98.
I don't know what you mean when you say bands. If you'll take a look at if you want to run the numbers and take a look at the market average, you'll see it moved up 2%.
No, I did take a look at the numbers.
I'm saying the market average. I think you're looking at a number of numbers. They're not all going to move 2%. So if you take a look at the market average, which is how you do this work, it moved up 2%.
Okay, so we have to compare every single midpoint to last year, and if we take the average of all the increases, it will be 2%?
Exactly so.
Okay.
If you compare, I don't know if you did a comparison between this year's wages, if this salary schedule was in effect, how much more it would be general fund dollars?
That was presented along with the budget. I don't have that number available to me right at the moment.
Okay.
Councilmember Knight.
So I got one more issue. When I read this over the weekend, I had to unscrew myself from the ceiling. I tried to think of a tactful way to ask this, but it just torques me off so much that I can't. What are you trying to pull here?
So please tell me what you mean by the question.
Last year's ordinance, 13-76, when we set the salary ranges, we specifically had a separate paragraph that set the salary, not a salary range, but set the salary for the city attorney as is required for us by city charter. We also did it for the city auditor. When we got the new city attorney, we did the same thing. We specified by ordinance a specific salary number. This year, what you presented to us, and you said you presented to us with the budget. You didn't present this to us with the budget. Yeah, an appendix E or F or whatever it was in the budget was the salary ranges. But it was not the caveat that the city attorney and the city auditor, both that are required by council, that we set their salaries. You've now included that their salaries can be anywhere in that range. So what the heck are you trying to pull here? Did you come and talk to council at all if we wanted to set a specific salary?
I think you're mistaken, Councilmember Knight. I think you're mistaken with regard to what's in there. First, let me correct something that you said. Was it in the budget presentation or not? You said it wasn't in there. Was it in there?
No, not the fact that the city auditor is
included. No, sorry, the salary
range.
structure. Was the salary structure in the budget?
The salary structure was in the budget, not this ordinance was not presented with the other.
So let me finish and I'll respond to your question with regard to the 2 appointees. As I said, the structure moves by the 2%, right? The market average of the structure moved by 2%. As I did last year, we will come back for the auditor and the city attorney. You will do a performance appraisal. We'll make a recommendation. My team will make a recommendation to you with regard to how that comes out with regard to the formula, and you will take that recommendation or not. You'll tell me how we want to do it. You do get to. There's no end run here. Nobody is trying to pull anything. I resent the remark and the characterization that I'm trying to pull anything, Don. I'm not trying to pull anything. I brought you what I brought you. I brought you full up, and you get to do the process that we did last time, which is work with me at the time we work with it, which is in March, April timeframe. That's when the salary changes go into effect. Yes, that's exactly right.
I refer you back. Your accusations are totally false. First off, you go back and look at 13-76. 13-76, and the body of it said we approved the salary ranges for the city attorney's assistants, the city auditor's assistants, and all other employees, and we had a separate paragraph, and 13-76 was approved in November of last year, not in March, but in November of last year where we set the salary for the auditor and the city attorney. What you have put in this one is you have said that the city attorney salary is included inside this range.
It
and that the
isn't-
city auditors is included inside this range. If we approve this as written, then the executive branch can go in and put any salary that he or she, the mayor wants, to the city attorney and to the city auditor, because we approve that salary just has to fall within that range. You are coming in here and asking us to abdicate a function that is ours by charter and that we have practice in this council.
Incorrect. You're incorrect.
If I could
In
jump
that-
in here,
If I may, you're incorrect, Councilmember Knight. The range is a range, right? That's why it's called a range. So you have a spread in that range. I am not setting anybody's rate. I am setting the market average of the range. I will come back to you as I did last cycle, and we will do exactly the same process. I will help the folks who do this understand the performance measurement system that the city uses, and I will help the folks understand where does that person sit in that range. With that, there's a very simple formula, an algorithm that will make a recommendation in terms of what that new rate might be. That will be your call to make. It's a range. You're not abdicating. I'm not setting you up to abdicate anything. I'm sorry that you feel that way. It wasn't my intent, and it's not my intent to do that. I will come back as I did last year, and we'll do the same process that we did last year for both the auditor and the city attorney.
No, the process that we did last year, we did in November. And at that time, we did not have there, and I'm reading you right out of Section 4, the salary ranges for the city attorney and the city attorney's assistants identified in the attached city council spring salary structure. If you go back and read 13-76, Section 4 of 13-76, give me a second to pull it up, but it did not have the city attorney. It said it's the salary ranges, for, in the Section 5 there, the salary ranges for the city's attorney's assistants certified in the Colorado Springs structure as a deputy city attorney, et cetera, et cetera. We did not have the city attorney in there, and we did not have the city auditor inside that range. You put those in there without even running this by this, and what that is doing is circumventing council's right and authority and responsibility to set the city attorney's schedule. You say you're going to do the same thing last year. We did it last year at this time. We didn't do it in March. We did it last year at this time. And I'm saying that we should do the same thing this year.
Okay.
President King, we've got some information that the reason that it was included last year was because it hadn't been done before as it should have been done, so it was added in as a corrective measure. But the procedure that's being proposed is entirely consistent with our local laws.
No,
Okay. Councilmember Knight.
like I said, this thing just torqued me so much. We have not had a chance to discuss this at the work session, the city attorneys. I make a motion that we postpone this, bring it back at the work session with separate a line item for the city attorney and the city auditor like we did last year. We can still vote on it on November 25th and December 9th and have it approved before it needs to go in effect on 1 January.
Okay. We have a motion.
And if I may respond to that, I think this is a tempest in a teacup over a non-issue. We will do the process. Councilmember Knight is incorrect. The pay increases went into effect when the city attorney was put into place. That was in January. The city attorney's salary got changed in the March-April timeframe along with other city employees. We did the city auditor the same way. It's a matter of trust. This is, again, a solution in search of a problem. There is no need to delay this.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Knight.
Yeah, I got to respond to infactual statements. We set the city attorney twice. We set it last November in 1376, ordinance 1376. We set it in November for Chris Melcher. We set it again when we confirmed Wynetta Massey. We never, and we did one for the city auditor when he got his pay performance review. We have never done a pay performance increase on the city attorney. We've only said it twice. So when you're saying you were doing the same thing as last year, we are not doing the same thing as
What
last
did we
year.
do for the city
Mike,
auditor?
Mike.
What did we do for the city auditor last year, and on what time schedule did we do it for the city
Yeah,
auditor?
I think
Mike.
we can, let's carry this discussion on else afterwards. This is, we will.
Well, I just have to defend staff. I mean, there's, like Mike said, we're not trying to pull an end run. We're trying to be in sync with all the rest of the city employees. It's clear that council has purview over the city auditor and the city attorney, so, and that cycle comes up in the March timeframe, and if council chooses to adjust their pay, it would be effective April 1st. There's nothing here. Thank you, President.
Were you able to find out what the percent increase was, how what the dollar difference would be between this year if this was in place? I thought you were looking that up, so I didn't know.
We can get that for you.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Miller.
Well, I just want to respond to the chief of staff. It's not clear because we had this battle last year. We were told you don't get to set the salary, you just get to set the salary range. So it's not clear. It hasn't always been clear. And this is before you came on, but we had this discussion last year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that was a point of contention. That no, the charter means we set the range of salaries, not the actual salary. So it's not a foregone conclusion, and it's not been accepted. Certainly hasn't previously been accepted by the executive branch. So
May I respond to that? It's been clearly demonstrated that it was accepted. We reduced the former city attorney's salary when it was requested. You did set it. So there's no question here.
there was plenty of questions about it as it was occurring.
Okay, we will, I think we will,
Thank you.
let's have a, I think we've discussed this pretty much all we need to. So is there any?
Can you, just for clarity, can you restate the motion?
Sure. Go ahead, Councilmember Net.
Motion is postpone this to a November 24th work session with the first reading on November 25th.
Okay, is there, Councilmember Gabler?
Can I just make a simple request? If this passes, this postponement, that Councilmember Knight, you actually maybe call Mike here and have this conversation in private and not subject the TV viewing audience to all of this dysfunction. There is just so much that can happen behind closed doors, and we can work things out before we air them to the public. And I would really just appreciate if this passes, you try to work it out so we can come back and vote on this as a group.
Well, and I would have done it if I had seen it more than yesterday or Saturday night when I was doing my homework. But this ordinance, as Eileen pointed, no, it was a different ordinance. But this ordinance did not come to us in a work session in this form.
Okay, are we ready to vote? Let's vote. That falls on a 4-5 vote, so we need another motion. So, Councilmember Bennett.
I move to approval of the ordinance repealing ordinance number 1359 and adopting the City of Colorado Springs 2015 salary structure for municipal employees.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Were we able to find that information about the wage difference? What would be? Okay.
Thank you.
I think that one of my concerns is that we always go to a midpoint, and whenever we go to a midpoint, we always outpace inflation, and it always creates a escalation of salaries in relationship to the market because of the way the process works. It seems to me that that process always going to the midpoint has that effect, and I think we had some discussion about that before, and I think it was over the historical period of time, it tends to make the salary increases outpace inflation by about 1 or 2 points. So
I would like to, I'll get with you, President King, if you'll allow, and go through how we did the comp study. We're not above the inflation. What I was referring to is those market surveys typically are right now about a point ahead of inflation. The city is not.
okay. All right. Further questions? Okay, let's vote. Passes on a 6-3 vote.